You can also do your flat foot like this. This is the next level, right? So you go on your knees. And if you're using a block, you're just going to sit down on your block, right? Like this. And you're just going to bend forward, bend back, right? And if you're not using a block, you're basically bending down as far as you can, putting your arms like that. I'm going to do the exercise like that, all right? You should feel it on your quads, right? So, okay? So what you're doing, you're bending down, right? And as you're going to stretch your arms out. Breathe in, and then you're going to touch your two arms. Breathe out, you're going back up. You're going down. We're not starting yet. I like the keeners in the room. Like the keeners in the room. Okay, so good morning, Jody. So we're going to do this a few times. Oh, you want to block? No? What are you doing? You can do this. Nah? You gotta kick your knee? Okay. So you stand up. If you don't want to do that, you can do a wall sit. Do something. You don't have to do this. If you have knee issues or back issues, just do a wall sit. A tree, something that works your quads. Okay? Okay, so you stand up. Two hands. Go as far as you can without keeping your back straight. Two hands front. Okay. Breathe in and then go up. Breathe out. Breathe in and then breathe out. So you're going down as you're breathing in. You hate me yet? Oh my God. Can you go down a little further? If it's not hurting, it's not working. The brain is powerful. It's working then. Somebody said that. I love it. Just another 50 more. 10. Come on. I'm 60. Okay, sorry, I'm yelling. Okay, last one. Tap your feet back there to stretch your, you're going to get kinks in your toes. Okay. Thank you. It's the faces I love. Hard on toes, right? Thank you. So why do we do these things? Anybody? Dopamine, yes. To get rid of cortisol, right? Increases serotonin, makes you happier, right? The bliss drug. I love that.
Right?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Everybody wants a little
Little.
bliss.
Yeah. Does it work?
Absolutely.
Cool.
Absolutely. You sweat,
Yeah.
you will be happy.
Does it work, Sam?
Yeah.
Yeah? Really?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I love it. I read this blog. I would suggest you read Just Blog this morning.
So good.
And it's a good blog on the Robin Mind. It was about, well, maybe it's not this morning. It's the one I popped up my feed. It's about being, choosing to be happy. And which is interesting because he talked about that he's changed. And we've seen the change. Sometimes we don't see the change in ourselves, but we see the change in other people. It's easier to see the change in other people, isn't it, than it is to see the change in ourselves. And we keep thinking that life, my mic dropped, life has trophies, but it doesn't. Life doesn't have any trophies, so we keep expecting to have a trophy at the end of whatever we're trying to get to, but we don't get the trophy. And Jeff's blog was interesting because he gets stuck. He was doing off-roading with a Honda Civic. And I was thinking, I don't think you should have sold your Jeep. But what was interesting about his blog is that he got stuck and then he laughed at it, which is he realized at that point that he had changed, because not too long ago he would have been upset. Not too long ago he would have been mad at himself or mad at the car or mad at the road or mad at the government, blaming somebody else for his problems. And now he says, you know what, I was just silly, right? And that ability allowed him to get out of his mess, which is pretty awesome, right? Because if you can change your mind, if you can actually evolve and being happy and being present, you can actually come up with better solutions. And that's what we're about today, right? We're about getting better solutions done. So that's why happiness and dopamine and serotonin and getting rid of cortisol helps you do your better job, right? And so I was reading his blog, and I think I've changed too. And I was wondering after reading his blog, did I change? And I know I changed, because coming here, I got hit by a car on my bike. And that was kind of interesting for me, because not too long ago, I would have been mad too. So I'm going on the street, the guy has a stop sign, he's the cab driver. He's not from here, I can tell. And he's kind though, and he basically didn't see me. He didn't stop, he didn't see me, he just ran over me. And I'm looking at the corner of my eye, I'm thinking, okay, I don't think this guy's gonna stop. And as he's stopping, and he didn't. So he basically hit me, I hit the top of his car, and got back down, and he gets out, are you okay? I said, yes, I'm fine, but I said, you gotta be careful. So we had a little bit of discussion, which was interesting. Do you know what I did afterwards? That's what I did. And he's looking at me, he says, what are you doing? But I was fine, right? I was fine. And not too long ago, I would have been mad. I would have blamed him. But I have a responsibility too, right? As a bike driver, to be careful. And, you know, in the fight between the bike and the car, I'm going to lose every single time. So I have a responsibility. He does, and I have one too. And I could tell he wasn't, you know, he wasn't being, you know, a bad driver. He was just not present. He was trying to get to wherever he was trying to get to. And that happens in life. Accidents happen. I was proudest of myself because I actually did a James Bond move. I rolled onto his hood, and then I rolled off on my 2 feet, which was pretty cool. And so I think I've changed because, like I said, not too long ago, I would have got out and I would have basically, you know, went in there and then maybe sued him. That was me before. And I think these are the little trophies in life when you realize you've changed. And it was enlightening for me this morning because of the blogs from Jeff and my realization that you can actually change, because I've been wondering, can we change? If you're a pessimist, can you become an optimist? If you're unhappy, can you become happy? If you know, can the brain evolve? Absolutely. You have to decide if you want to be happy. You have to decide if you want to change. And it doesn't come easy. The exercise I'm asking you to do aren't easy, right? If it was easy, everybody would do it. Everybody would do it, right? And then I listened to Shelly's video, and it reminded me, and you should watch her video, because when you're going through life, you expect these little trophies. You expect to have a trophy and say, hey, I won the gold medal today. Life doesn't happen that way, right? I posted 500 quotes last week. There was no band, there was no trophy, there was nobody waiting at the door. Just 500 quotes, right? It was nothing. But it's the little things that matter, right? It's little things that make you say, this is my life, right? This is the little steps that actually push you forward, right? And so don't expect a trophy, right? We are all changing, and this is why we're here. And in Shelley's post, it says the reason that we're all here together is to encourage ourselves. Because if you spot somebody that's changing, your obligation here is to tell them. Your obligation is to tell them you're changing, because we don't see it in ourselves, right? Because there's no trophy, and we get discouraged and we stop. And that's the reason, like places like Clear Degree, for example, work, or CrossFit works, or anything that's group activity works, because you support group helps you go through the mess in your life. That's your biggest responsibility here, right? That's the biggest responsibility we have, and that's why I have these cards. Is that why you have the cards over there? For everybody. So I made these little cards based on some of the quotes and feel free to use them. I'm going to make more of them. One is to be beautiful, you need to see beauty, which to me is really interesting. And at the back, what are 5 beautiful things you see about you? So it's a little push into realizing that we are all special, we are all beautiful, right? It's a little push. So if you see beauty, if you see something nice, well, use the cards. That's what they're there for, okay? Okay, so I'm reading a couple of books. One is the Bible, which is my first read of the Bible, and it's really interesting. I'm reading also a few prophets like Nietzsche, which is really interesting, and I'm reading 3 at the same time. I'm reading The Life of Churchill, which is also interesting. And what I'm starting to see is that I think from a management point of view, from a coach point of view, from a friend point of view, from a parent point of view, we're missing the bigger picture. And there's this passage in the Bible that Jesus is seeing this person who's paralyzed, and he goes to the person who is not necessarily a good person, and he says to the person, "I forgive you. Your sins are forgiven, absolved, and you may now walk." And he stands up and walk. And then his disciples basically question why he would do that to a person who didn't basically have a good habits. And Jesus says, is it easier for you to say, "I forgive you," or is it easier for you to say, "Get up and walk"? And I was reflecting on that, and I thought, I think he was a master leader. I think he was a master manager when you think about it. Because as managers, as leaders, as parents, we try to tell people what to do because we believe that's easier. But really, if we give hope to people, if we make them believe that they can do anything that they can, right? If we absolve them of their whatever pain that they have, won't they rise up themselves? Won't they do better? And that's where I get to. And if I look at, in New Brunswick right now, where we have a minority government, which is interesting, and all they're doing is bickering. And what I love coming to Dovico is nobody's bickering. We get in here and people are actually discussing, we're having a debate. It's not about I'm wrong, you're right, it's about where are we going. And that's the problem. I think our leaders have forgotten that hope is what changed lives. It's not that you're right or you're wrong, it's that hope to a better future, hope that we can do something better than we've actually have today. So my message to leaders and my message to you, right, is instead of telling someone what to do, instead of believing that you're right and they're wrong, right? In my accident this morning, there was no right or wrong. He hit me. I could have died. There's no right or wrong. It's just an accident, right? He was sorry. I was sorry too. And you just give him hope. There's hope there that we can change. And all I did with that young man was to say, be careful. And I think he'll be more careful today. That's it. And that's leadership. That's management. That's your responsibility to give people hope. It's not to tell them what to do, but to give them hope. Make sense? Mm-hmm. All right. I hope you guys have a great week. Aww. Because what?
Because you're okay, and also because of the way you react.
Oh, thank you. Aww.
I really do.
Thank you. That's it.
Do you want to mention the following 2 weeks?
Yes, for the next 2 weeks. So every year I do something that it's totally out of my comfort zone. This year I'm going to take my yoga teacher training in Mexico with a fellow by the name of Baron Baptiste. He teaches power yoga. I did one series with a coach of mine in Amherst yesterday, and it was 1 hour, and I'm sore. So this is from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day. We do yoga all day. Yeah, I'm gonna be sore. So I'm totally out of my comfort zone. So you won't see me for the next couple of weeks. 2 Mondays actually. I'm gone from Friday to the week and a half after that Wednesday. But I'll come back with some new ideas, right? I didn't speak about New Orleans, which was my last trip. Was amazing. You have to go to New Orleans. Like there's dancing, there's music at every corner of the street. There's creativity. It's just amazing the happiness that's there. But then you just get out and you can see the sadness. It's really an amazing, amazing city. It should be on. I wish we could all go there to see the innovation actually. And then we have our Christmas party that's coming up. Should I talk about that?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So is it going to be Black Rabbit? Is that what we're deciding? Okay. So and I know there's some people asking maybe we should do a party at my place. And I think I'll do that too. Maybe not before Christmas, but I'll do one right after Christmas. So we'll have a little celebration at our place. I know a lot of people have not had the chance to see the chaotic, amazing, I don't know, party that we create at our place, but we'll do that after Christmas. But before Christmas, it's going to be around November. We haven't picked a date, but we have a range of dates. So please tell us what you're available. It's going to be Black Rabbit is Luke's 5-course meal. And the reason that's important for me is the creativity. The reason it's important for me is like how he actually manages to reinvent himself every single week with his team. And the stress that he creates, but also it's a good stress. And that's, to me, is a good example of what we're trying to do here at Dovico. So please give me your dates. Estelle, actually, right? Anything else?
Nope.
Cool. All right. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.